Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing something different. I am actually part of a DIY challenge from Heidi Sonboul, and it was a Halloween or fall DIY. So I chose to go ahead and do some Halloween decor DIY items for you, and I hope you guys like this video. Okay, so let's get into this first DIY. The first thing you're going to need are these 3 boxes. They're wooden boxes from the Dollar Tree. They have like these little shapes cut out. We're just going to turn those inside out. You need a bag of these miniature skulls from the Dollar Tree. You also are going to need plaster Waverly chalk paint or white chalk paint, and also ink, which is just a black chalk paint. A beauty blender from the Dollar Tree, and just a whatever paintbrush. And then these poster board stickers I also picked up from the Dollar Tree, and your hot glue gun. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and paint our boxes. So just a nice generous coat of white chalk paint, or in my case I'm using plaster, and you're going to paint 3 sides of your box. I didn't paint the bottom of my boxes only because you're not going to see them. However, if you're not going to put them together and you're just going to have them as like a tumbling block, then paint all sides. Once you have them all painted, I went in with the ink paint, put it on my beauty blender, and then just to stress the corners, just to give it a little bit more dimension once you put everything together. I really like this. It's an extra step. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but I think it looks great. Okay, so now we're going to assemble our blocks. So you'll need those small skulls, your hot glue gun, and you want to make sure that whatever boxes you want to use, the front, so that way they're the ones that are facing out forward. And I just took one of the skulls, hot glued it onto the outer corner in the front, and then I am going to put the box sitting on an angle on top of the skull. So hot glue and on the side of the box, and then also on the top of the skull. And then you're going to want to hold it there really steadily so that it doesn't like come apart, because it will, obviously, gravity. So once it's dry, then you can go ahead and start on your next box. Again, we're doing it in every other direction. I didn't want my boxes just to kind of float around or so that you could move them, which is why I chose to glue them all together this way. I like the look of this, so I hope you guys do too, really. Once you have everything glued and you're happy with the way that it looks, we are now going to go ahead and put our letters on the box. So I chose to do boo. You could do eek. You could do whatever 3-letter word you want, or if you wanted to do like 4 boxes standing on top of themselves, I guess you could do that too. I just went with boo, and after I got those letters on, I then took these 3 colors, which is just a pumpkin orange, a green, and a purple from the apple barrel paints, I think. They're 50 cents at Walmart, so I love those. And I'm just taking a bat, painting him black, putting him on the corner of one of the boxes, a pumpkin and a ghost, and just obviously painting those colors. I also put an extra skull on the top of the B box, just because it kind of looked like it was off-centered a little bit. So let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments of this first project. So here is my finished project. I hope you guys really like it as much as I do. On to project number 2. For project number 2, the items that you're going to need is 3 colors of paint. So I went with the standard colors for Halloween, and then some ink black chalk paint from Waverly. I also picked up this Eek sign from the Dollar Tree, and I also am using one of Dollar Tree's signs. This one just says welcome on it, but the sides are like really, I don't know, it looks like tattered wood almost, and it's a really thick board. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the entire back of the board with the black Waverly paint. Just give it a nice thick coat over everything so that you don't see any of the imperfections within the piece of wood. Once you get done painting your board, do not forget to paint the edges. The next thing we're going to go ahead and paint is the Eek sign. So I originally started to paint this with the color. However, it was like seeping into whatever this material is. So what I decided to do is just take some of my white chalk paint or whatever white paint you want to use and basically just kind of put a nice cover over top of this, like you're priming a wall or something. So that's what I did here. I primed my project first, and then I go back in and apply the colors that I want to paint this sign. While you're putting on this white paint, make sure that you're putting a nice even layer so that when you start coloring it with the other paints, you don't see any of that white kind of showing through, if that makes sense. I used green for my first letter, and then I also took some of this green and I distressed the board with it, which I think it looks pretty awesome. Again, this is just an extra little tip. If you want to do it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Back to our Eek sign. So the next color I use for the smaller E is going to be this purple color. So I had to put on 2 coats of this purple color. And that's why I said with the white, make sure that you put on a nice even layer everywhere. Because with the purple, like you could see where some of the white was lighter than other parts. So I had to go back in with 2 layers of this purple paint. But I love this color. The final color I used was orange, and I used that for the K and the punctuation. Originally, I wasn't going to paint the punctuation the same color, but in the end, I decided to, which I'm happy that I did. With this orange color from Apple Barrel, I will have to say that it is a very watery color. It goes on very thin. It's almost see-through, and it took several coats to finally get the color I was going for on this last letter. Now we're going to assemble. So we're going to take our letters, place them onto our board, make sure that they're even. Don't go by your big E, go by your K, because at least the K is straight. And I took some hot glue and just attached it to the board. Once that was all held down, then I went in and gave it some extra add-ons, props. I don't know what you would call them, but I wanted to give it a little bit of something. So I took one of these miniature skulls from the last DIY that we had, and I put one on the top. And I also had some of this glittery twine. I don't know what they're called, but they're from a Dollar Tree. They're just like these pieces of vine that look like really glittery. See those? I chopped those off and put them places. And then this little ghost I had from last year. I think I've seen those though this year also. But I just took this little ghost. I painted him white, and he's just another accent on here just to make the whole thing come together and not just look like a sign that says Eek. So some hot glue, pushed him down on there, And then I started placing in these little glittery vine pieces wherever wherever I wanted to put them, wherever my eyes were happy that they were there. Also on the back of my eek board, I put a hanger on the back so that I could either hang this up on the wall or it could also sit on a table or a shelf. Here is my finished products. I have both of them here staged for you. I hope you guys really like this video. I had such a fun time creating these projects for you. If you're interested in anyone else in the playlist, please go ahead and follow those links as well. And thank you, Heidi, for allowing anyone to join your DIY challenge. I certainly had fun. I hope you guys did too. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click that notification bell so that you're notified of all my future uploads. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.